there's quite a few fantastic structures around the earth, and perhaps one of the most symbolic structures is known as a star fortress. So this is one of many, many star fortresses around the world. There's so many different permutations of them, and no humans today can build these structures. So I believe that the perfected geometry of these star fortresses was a geometry that enhanced environmental housing designs and people living together in harmony. So therefore it provided health and security. So it makes sense that we use the sacred geometry that we are interested in and apply it, the practical use, to how we design our villages and our cities, so it's in resonance with the above. And that way we can receive the celestial transcripts and make it common matter here on earth. So I believe that these star fortresses are a testament to the fact that there must have existed highly advanced civilizations. If that would be my main claim, that these aren't just mysteries, this is evidence. We're following the breadcrumbs to recognize that there's been high-level mathematics from our forebears, and that they used these huge power plants to extract the electromagnetic energy from the ether, to send energy not just to the village here, but to all the distant territories around. And that, as I said in my previous parts, that the key to the mathematics that created these architectures was an understanding of counter-rotating fields as seen in the torus, because we're using explosive technology which is polluting. When you look at your cars, all we're doing is polluting and fossil fuels. But if we reverse it and go the other way, we're in harmony. We're actually imploding. We're connecting to the impliverse. We're understanding how nature works. And so if you look at one of the biggest technologies on planet Earth today, there's a structure that goes under France and Switzerland. It goes for just under 27 kilometers, a big ring of tunnels where they're smashing particles. It's a particle accelerator. It's so stupid technology where instead of understanding something holistically, they're saying, let's smash a particle to see what's inside of it. It's so dumb. But there's a place called CERN, CERN. It represents the European Order for Nuclear Research. And what it is, if you looked inside of the what they call it, the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, it's a giant torus. It's this magnificent technology. But if you understand what they're doing, is they are using toroidal energy, but the problem with sacred geometry is that it amplifies energy, just like a pyramid. So if your intentions aren't pure, if you want to advance technology so you control and rule the world and keep people in debt as debt slaves, then that will come back to you. It's called Carmageddon. So the problem with our scientists is that they have to be like high priests, because when the high priest wore the breastplate, when these ancient Israeli priests wore the 12 stones, they were all frequencies on the heart, which means you couldn't lie, and if you lied, you would die. So only the high priests were able to carry the Ark of a Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant was something that was designed in the double cube, which is the mathematics of 1.618 root 5 mathematics. The Ark of the Covenant fitted exactly inside the Cheops pyramid. And the Cheops pyramid was not a tomb. There's no hieroglyphics there. It was an advanced astronomical database and an antenna to the cosmos. So by just looking at what scientists are doing, they're going in the wrong direction. They're tapping into these ancient civilizations, the Torus, the pyramid, the sacred maths, but they're using it to control others. The key word is being shareable. If you're not shareable, you will self-destruct. So if you meet someone who's not shareable, then don't work with them, run away, because the whole concept of a temple was that people came in community. The temple, the sacred architecture, was bringing people together, not controlling people. So anyway, the beautiful thing about these star fortresses is that they were often surrounded by water and canals and aqueducts, because what they were doing was really making steam. You don't hear much about steam power anymore, because that's splitting of the water molecule, hydrogen and helium. So really, if you had a star fortress here and another star fortress there and all around the globe, and you put all the power plants together, what were you creating? You were creating a single machine that was in harmony with all the others. And that's what a hologram is, when every part is connected to the whole, and the whole is in every single cell. So we can conclude that the Tartarians were using frequency, sound waves, crystals. They understood the torus, or the plural of torus is tori, coils, fusion reactors like CERN, resonators, capacitors, which is a battery to store that energy that you got from the ether. And why did they do all this? To create their steam-powered civilization that we call advanced. But really it's not advanced, it's just basic harmonics. It's just the way it should be natural. It shouldn't be called advanced. And the reason why we're connected to all these structures is because we are 70% water. Our brain is 90% water. The Earth's ocean covers 70% of the planet. So that means if water is a liquid crystal, then water has memory. And that's why the fourth state of water, what they call plasma. Some people are saying it's actually the fourth state of matter. There's a bit of debate as to what plasma is. It's either the fourth state of matter, but when we look at all this information about water, many people are saying it's the fourth state of water, a higher frequency of water. So therefore, just by looking at this, we can conclude that the world is a gigantic water grid. And when we think of water grids, we think of the Amazon Valley. In fact, some of the people teaching Tartaria are saying that all the thousands of rivers and canals going through the Amazon were actually artificially created for their advanced civilization, and we only see the remains of all these rivers. I'm not sure about that, but all I know as a builder is that sacred sites with their temples were always built near natural spring. As I said before, I spent some time in Chartres Cathedral, and it was originally built over spring water. There's this, you can go there today and look down this giant well, but there's no more water left. So what's happening is that if the springs have gone, that means there's been a distortion with the original templates of harmonics. So all we conclude right now is we're at a space where there needs to be healing for the earth to bring back the waters. It's all about letting the waters flow, letting the waters conduct that electricity. And the reason why I'm obsessed about electricity, water, is that this was actually a chalkboard. So often I do a big chalkboard when I'm teaching, but my artist just went over the chalkboard. You can see that water, so here's the two hydrogens, hydrogen, and that's the oxygen here. And so when we look at water, if you read the science book, they say that the bond angles for water is 104.5 degrees. So 104.5, but what we recognize is that these are two hinges, and that water, when it's superstructured, like in a glacier, and is purified, even with your thoughts, can affect water. That's why we've got to be careful what we think, because we are water on two legs, according to Don Tolman. That these act like hinges, and the angle can go from 104.5 to 108. So 108 degrees is the pent angle. So when we look at the dodecahedron, all these angles, the dihedral angle, the distance from there to there, if you could measure that angle from there to there, it's 108 degrees. And also, when you look at the flat face of the pentagon, this angle here is 108, 108, 108, 108, 108. I actually wrote the first encyclopedia on the number 108. That's one of my academic gifts to the world. Is 4 or 5 years ago, no one was talking about 108, and now it's the buzzword, because it's the critical external angle of the dodecahedron, of the pentagon. And if you look at this, the writing on the pentagon here, we've got HYGIA. See that writing? Originally, that the blue pentacle, that's why I've got blue lines. The blue pentacle was the symbol for Pythagoras, who set up a school in Crotona after being persecuted in Greece. So he had to leave and set up the school, and they fasted and they kept many secrets. And the biggest secret was the ether, the fifth element. You weren't allowed to talk about the discovery of the ether. It was like the master secret of all time. So that writing there where it says HYGIA is Hygeia. Hygeia was the goddess of health and healing. So this means the ancients 2,500 years ago of Pythagoras and that's contemporary to Buddha was that there was an intimate and divine connection between sacred geometry, the universal language of mathematics, and health, the goddess of health, that was the symbol of the pentagon. So the pentagon, fractal pent, is the ultimate symbol that you can work with. So that's why I work with star kids. I get children drawing the pentagon within the pentagon within the pentagon, because when you draw the pentagram within the pentagon, it keeps reducing at the rate of 0.618. It's in a harmonious flow. So just wanted to let you know, keep studying sacred geometry, because this is going to lead to sacred architecture. It's a study of curvology and how all things must flow and how we are all connected to water. I'd like to also touch on a little bit about Atlantis. So if you want to know more about Atlantis, I'll talk about that, say, in my next part. So part 4 coming is going to be a discourse on a bit more on Atlantis, Eratosthenes, the pyramids in Egypt. So you can see how vast this is. A huge subject, covers many, many amazing topics.